Hey, how's it going, Ebenezer? Can you
Very
hear me?
good. How are you?
Good, I'm good. So, Ebenezer, how does it work now? So you basically just, once the meeting starts recording, that's it? You get off?
Uh, I'm gonna be with you all the way to the end.
Okay.
Okay.
It should
So
be,
when the media start, I'm gonna press recorder.
yeah, this meeting shouldn't be more than an hour.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Connie?
Been a lot going on this summer. We didn't get a break.
Yeah, I had.
Usually we get 2 months. We didn't get anything. It was just nonstop.
Oh, no,
I'm so exhausted.
I disconnected. I had to oversee 3 camps during COVID. It was in person, so
Oh, jeez.
yeah. So
Ooh.
you have to like literally log everybody's temperature every day, just monitor that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it was a cool summer. The least kids I've worked with in a while though, because I'm used to working like 700-800 during the summer. There's something really 150, but it felt like we were working like 2,000 with the amount of pressure.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great that they had that though, you know?
I did that. Yeah, they didn't have that. I did it
Yeah.
once. One of our kids got killed this summer in the Bronx. Got shot in the neck, and I was like, hell no. I wasn't gonna do anything this summer, but then that
Right.
was like, nah, I got
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thankful for this short agenda because I'm tired. I'm so exhausted. I am zoomed out. I am so tired.
Literally, because I usually send that like 2 weeks before. I literally did all of that Sunday and Monday because my camp finished Friday, so I had time. I rested Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday I got to it.
Well, I saw these kids are not gonna go back to the near the end of September now. They pushing the date back.
Pushed 10 days, and you know what's crazy? That everybody was informed today. Like seeing the mayor speak. That's when everybody found out.
See, that's not right on so many levels. That's not right. You know, you should be the first. They teachers and educators, and people who work with these kids should be the first to know.
And I guarantee you now, probably, yeah, but yeah.
What can you do? I hope these people are safe because that's insane. I just don't see it with some of these buildings are really old. I worry about the ventilation, you know?
Yeah, we're probably gonna start like around 7:05, 7:10 to give everybody enough time. But yeah, why did you go live? We haven't started yet.
We're gonna record this, right?
Yeah, but after we start.
Oh yes, that's right. Oh yeah, it is live now. Oh my god, I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh well. Hey everybody. Hey. Who was watching?
We got some board members who are in the guest side.
Right.
Ebenezer? Yeah, we got some board members as attendees.
Yes.
There's some board members as attendees. If you could pass them over, please.
Okay, but are they member of your committee? You have Cynthia, and then you have Giselle, you have Isidro and Mariela Graham.
Mariela Graham is, but Isidro's in the board, so he should just be put as.
Mariela is part of your committee?
Yes.
Okay, I promote Mariela.
Yeah. And hey, how's it going, Mariela?
Hi.
I promoted Isidro. Hey, Mariela, I'm sure you found out the news today too.
I found out on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. I was in the school. I was like, there was nobody talking about. Everybody was getting ready for the 11th for the
Mhm.
10th, nobody was talking about.
Yeah, this is how we find out our news, you know?
Yeah.
They tell us on TV.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, how was your summer?
It was okay. I mean, there's just so much anxiety around reopening, and all summer, I think it was just thinking about what was it going to look like, you know, and every week passed. And
Yeah.
but do you work in a school?
I work at in PS 132. Juan Pablo
Ah,
Ponce. Yeah.
I used to work at 528 right across the street.
Oh yeah, with Pichardo. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked there, I mean, a long time ago, but that's where I was a teacher.
Oh, okay. I went to school there back in the early 2000s.
You did?
Yeah.
Huh. Hold on.
But
I taught there from 2002 to 2006.
no, I was probably there like 2000. I was there for a year, 2000 to 2002, and then I went to 2018.
Oh, that's when that school was only sixth grade.
Yeah, yeah.
My husband taught there.
So
Mr. Graham, he taught English.
I probably know, maybe,
Ah,
maybe.
that's so funny.
But yeah, I went there for a year.
Mhm.
Look, I think it was fifth and sixth because I was there for like fifth and sixth grade, and then it turned into sixth, seventh, and eighth.
So Ms. Zeppi was the principal.
Yeah, Miss Zeppi. There was it was like a white woman. She was blonde.
Uh-huh.
Helen something.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know her. Norma
Oh,
Perez was the principal when I was there, but
oh
interesting.
yeah. Oh, Walsh. It was last name Walsh.
Huh.
But I was only there for a year, so it was just probably like one of those interim principals.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we're just waiting for everybody to start coming in. Ebenezer, pass. You got Rafael, Christina, and Isidro, because Isidro's gonna do a presentation around partnerships. So I need them on this side. It doesn't give me any options here to. But yeah, who else is here? Cindy, how's it going? Cindy, long time. Cindy's in San Francisco.
No.
Juan Guzman, he's in the
And,
committee.
and Christina is as well. Christina Riches is how you pronounce it.
Richie.
She's Richie. She's also in the waiting. She's also needs to be brought over. She's here on the
Yes,
committee as well.
he's working
Yeah.
at his pace.
Hi,
No.
everyone.
Raphael's in there too. He's our public member.
How you guys doing? And it's
Hi,
Richaz.
Riches.
It's like
Thank you.
Richaz. Oh, that's cool. That's
Got
cool.
it.
RICH Rich for the money, and then
I hear that.
easy. I'm just kidding.
I hear that. I hear that.
So we all want to be Richaz.
For real.
Yeah, so I try to keep the agenda brief, being that is our first meeting back,
Yeah.
and understanding that it's been a hectic summer. I know there's an individual
Yes.
that wants to present on a situation that happened with Hispanic Federation around some concerns with the distribution of money, how the money was distributed. We have Susana, who's wanted to speak on being harassed.
Mm.
And And then you said you had invited the Sisters Uptown Bookstore owner.
No, I didn't invite them. I didn't invite them. I said for the next meeting that I suggested that we include
Oh no!
different
I
people.
added it to the agenda. We can have a conversation around that because I think it's important.
Yeah, no, I didn't invite them because I didn't want to mess with this, but yeah, for the next meeting, yeah, I definitely would like to see
Okay, but it's
them
remember, it's always important. All of us are board members. All of us have responsibilities of when we feel that the agenda or anything needs a little bit more representation. I think we have to take it upon ourselves to be able to provide that sort of recommendations. And
I did. I just saw the agenda too. So
Paradise Phoenix,
yeah.
And Rafael Fernandez.
But yeah, we definitely should talk a little bit more about that when we get to our committee business part.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit. 3 camps, Mariela. Three camps this summer during COVID.
Wow.
150 kids.
Huh.
You already know. It felt like 1,000, but it was only 150.
That's good. I'm glad they got to try something different after the spring, you know?
Yeah, I had to take them to New Jersey. And I put in like certain protocols in place as far as like tracking their temperature. We provided with them with masks and etc.
Do we have an updated agenda? Because the agenda I have is just the one that I got on Monday. Did we get a new one? I'm looking at the one that has small business owner Susanna and somebody named Elisette, and then committee business collaborations, and then 2 community partners.
It's the same thing. The only thing added to the agenda was the name of Sister.
Oh no! That was for, I think it was a miscommunication. Yeah, that's for suggestions for the next meeting. And I also was thinking about Tara, who has the Hilltop Ale House place.
Cool. Hey Nobles, congratulations, homie. Nobles is officially our statesman. Well, not for my district, so I couldn't vote for you, Nobles. I would have loved to.
Yeah, that's right. State committee, but it's all good.
And we have some new members. We got Juan, Paradise, Christina, Mariela, Cindy, sometimes. Rafael's not. He's here. Isidro, what's the name of the person?
So her name is Lisette Caballero, and she's from Open Eye, which is on Broadway between 184th and 183rd. It's an optic place. I sent her a note with a link, so I hope that she's going to join us out.
Okay, cool. So we'll start at 7:10.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, well, you're going on and off.
Did you hear me?
Your internet's a bit laggy.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
So I sent her a note. Her name is Elisette Caballero, and she wanted to bring some issues concerning the Hispanic Federation.
Yeah.
So I sent a link. I hope she's going to join us pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing people complaining about that also. We have Chris Nichols from Senator Jackson's office. Ebenezer, if you could please switch him over.
You want to promote whom?
Chris Nichols, Senator Jackson's office. ¿Cómo tú estás, Rafael? Looking sharp like always.
Hey, how's it going, committee? How are you guys?
Yeah, good. We have 2, 4, 5 individuals there. Cynthia Auburn, Giselle, L'Oreal, YG, and Alicia Seymour. All right. So on the agenda today, we have. So as far as the report, there wasn't much this summer.
Are we recording?
I
So
attended.
Domingo, let me know when you're going to start the meeting so I can start recording.
Okay, it says like you are already recording, like it's already.
No, I'm not recording. I'm not recording yet.
Okay, so let's start the meeting.
Yes, we are recording now.
All right, perfect. So on the agenda today, I try to keep it brief since we are in uncertain times and we know that there's a lot going on. So I try to keep it as brief as possible. But we're still before we approve the agenda, if anybody would like to add anything, you could do it after my opening remarks. So I hope everybody received the agenda. Thus far, we have my opening remarks, approval of agenda, small business testimonies. I'm gonna be removing Tara Foley from Sisters Bookstore. It was a miscommunication between me and Tanya. She wants to bring her in next month. I have two businesses that reached out. Susana Osorio from Mama Sushi to express to talk about a situation of harassment that she's currently experiencing by individuals, and Elisec Caballero from I Open Optical, who wanted to speak on certain inconsistencies that she found within the distribution of funds from Hispanic Federation, and she would like to understand it a bit better. As far as committee business, we have collaborations, community partner updates, and the final item in the agenda is old business, any new business announcements, and adjournment. As far as my welcoming remarks, it's been a hectic summer, as you all know. Our committee did a lot last year when the pandemic first broke out, that the city shut down. We did a lot of resource-driven events for small businesses. We try to do as much as we could with uncertain times, and we did our best. Everything went well, but unfortunately, the summer was somewhat bit complicated for me. That's why I personally did call any summer sessions with the camps and the pandemic and job responsibilities. I did though get invited this summer to a meeting around the Tower Hotel, that hotel room that's being built in 181st and Amsterdam. I think it's really important for us to understand CBAs as you have these huge developments coming into our communities. I think it's extremely important for us to understand what type of negotiations were done and what are the agreements that they have had, like that they had with our elected officials, as well as with past committees in the past. We have to understand what these CBAs are. So just giving everybody a heads up, I would like, and Ebenezer, I'll be contacting you for that. I want to get the CBA that the tower did with land use, and have a full understanding of what were some of the promises that they made to our community. But besides that, that's my report. If anybody has any questions around that, please let me know now before we move forward. Tanya, will you be doing the minutes?
I am, yes.
Thank you. And yeah, so if there's any questions, that's my report.
Do you need a motion to adopt the agenda, or are you?
I think Tanya wanted to add something to the agenda, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I didn't want to add. I wanted to in the when we get to the committee business, I just want to talk about um uh some of the small businesses that we're bringing in, and you know, just kind of looking at that a little bit.
All right.
And that was for when we get to committee business. I'm not sure.
Under committee business, we have collaborations. Do you feel like that would fall under that?
Yeah, I think so, because we're partners with them, with the businesses and collaborators. So I guess that could fit.
Okay, cool. So the only modification before we adopt the agenda is to remove the third speaker, which is the owner of Sisters Uptown.
Yeah, you have the name wrong. Tower is Ale House, but
Okay.
Sisters, but yeah, that the idea is we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so thank you for removing that. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Seconded.
All right, anybody else? Oh, you know what's cool here? Let me see if y'all could do it here. Do we have to speak on it, or could we? Oh no, you can't do the thumbs up here. I was about to be thumbs up, thumbs down. Is there anybody that any oppositions to the modification made to the agenda? No, thumbs up. We good?
Good.
Great. Okay, so all right, perfect. All right, so is there anybody is, give me 1 second. All right, so is Susana Osorio or Elizette Caballero in here? You could use the chat to let us know. If you're not, we'll be moving on to committee business. Or once, twice. All right. So committee business, Tanya, let's talk about what you're feeling.
Yeah. So, I know everything is evolving. So I just wanted to just make sure, that when we bring in people that we're hearing like a diversity of voices from the business owners in our community. Just want to make sure, because there's so many different business owners here of different races and ethnicities and things. And I just want to make sure that their voices are in there and represented, and when they, to bring them in and hear from them as well. I want to make sure it's just not, one group that we're hearing from. Because I know that I've spoken to a number of these businesses, including Tara, that I was talking about different issues that she's been experienced down there where she's at 157. So yeah, I mean, there are so many. I just wanted to make sure that we're cognizant. And so when we're pitching people, if, I'm sure all of us, of course, are helping to bring some of these people in, or at least we should. And when we're thinking about that, to think about the wide diversity of the small business owners in our community, and, and making sure that we are representing all of those voices.
Yeah, I hear you, Tanya, and I think like that's all responsibility that we all have to bring upon ourselves as members of the committee. Once the agenda, I'll personally take responsibility for the limited time that I sent out the agenda. I had work responsibilities that really limited me from being able to send out an agenda. I usually send it out 2 weeks prior, at least a week prior to the meeting. But I think we are responsible for contributing in one way or another to diversity. That's something that we all have to be cognizant of, that we all have to uphold. But I also think it's very important that when we want to be constructive, not destructive. So like if you feel somebody's missing, it's not solely just the issue on diversity, but I also think it's important to note that it might be that these were the only individuals who reached out. You know, the only reason that they were on the agenda was for the fact that they reached out and they wanted to share a certain sentiment that they were experiencing. So that's why all I wanted to do, honestly, in this meeting was get a temperature check from the committee and get the ball rolling so that we could have a good meeting next month, because it's been a hectic summer, and therefore I felt everybody was doing their thing in one way or another, recovering from the pandemic and its implications, you know. So I just felt that I didn't want to bombard everybody with information the first meeting. So that's why I only added those two individuals. And yeah, so if anybody else wants to add anything, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, and that's definitely appreciated, Domingo. Like I was definitely fronting a 10, 11 p.m. meeting tonight, so I appreciate keeping the agenda light. And to your point, like even I didn't really know like what the procedure was to getting business this year, but I always thought that it was if they wanted to reach out to us. But you know, Tanya brings up something interesting, and you certainly took on some responsibility here to like if we don't get a good representation, at least from the folks that want to come and present to us or what have you, then we should maybe do some outreach. So I'm 100% behind that, and I will certainly help you out with that too when you need it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I have a question. I'm not if this is the place for it, but when I think about just collaboration within a business development committee, I wonder, and I don't know where is the place for it, but if there is already something in place, or if it's possible that this be some kind of year-long project about how we encourage collaboration amongst businesses, that maybe some that are more successful than others, especially given like the current climate, where I think like technology uptake of some businesses probably puts them at a greater advantage than other businesses. And I wonder where the community, you know, and so it could be like across different sectors, right? So I don't think like one restaurant wants to help like necessarily, right? Like the competition right next door, but other like cross kind of cross interest businesses. And I wonder if that's just, I don't know where the place for that is. I mean, part of my interest in the business development committee was thinking about collaboration and sharing expertise. And so I don't know where that lives in this committee, but I just wanted to raise that.
Yeah, so COVID really like changed everything. We had like a dope timeline where we were gonna do certain events for the community, as far as you know, working for the DOE. Sometimes we have access to certain. I even forgot the wording that we were using. Tanya, do you remember what fair we were gonna put together towards the spring? You remember a procurement? We were gonna put a procurement
Right.
together. And then guess what hit the following day? It wasn't even it was February, and by the next meeting, everything shut down. Nobody knows what's happening. We're having meetings, just providing businesses with information, whether it be legal or around lease, etc. But we were planning to have Summer Youth do a canvassing event, so we could start developing a database, and we could start putting together. Isidro, who's the director of the bid, also has connections with and he comes to participate in some of the. We have a partnership section where we encourage local organizations that are working with small businesses to be able to report on what type of events they have, what type, etc. So we won't have to replicate the wheel. You have Cindy and Raphael, who are both working in banks. Cindy works for TD, and Raphael works for Apple Bank. Cindy also was working in a commerce organization around other small businesses. So I feel like everything was coming together, and then COVID just put a halt on everything. So right now, what we're trying to do is just readjust, assess, and then just figure out what we could do in the time period that we have, which is I would say till December, which when the next election is, for the community board chair, and then we just figure out what the next chair's agenda is.
And we were also going to honor during Women's History Month, which was March. We were going to honor 12 Community Board 1212 women business owners, and so that got squashed too. Like Domingo said, everything that was supposed to happen in March just couldn't happen. So yeah, there was a lot in the works before the pandemic hit. You know, I was really excited about honoring the women business owners. I was just like ready. We had the invitations done, created, all of it. We were ready to go. It's so disappointing, but hopefully we can revisit that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we could definitely revisit that, but back to Mariella's point, I think it's just, this is the right space for that. What we have to identify is like, how does that look, and what do we envision, and just move forward on it. Because unfortunately right now everything is so different that, yeah, we're just trying to figure out how we could develop these interest collaborations during COVID. Anything else?
I mean, I would say, to our credit though, we had two very successful kind of like more timely, not meetings, but information sessions during, one was during our actual session, but one was during the off session, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so like, you know, I kind of like that flexible nature that we met the need of the community versus going in with, I mean, except for the one in the off season, but versus going in with a set agenda for every month, like meeting the need of the community. I hadn't seen that in some of the other board meetings I've been a part of, where it's more predetermined in terms of what we're going to be talking about. So it's not that it has to happen all the time, but I honestly thought that our service, when the beginning of the pandemic and when PPP loans started rolling out, I think that our role was very beneficial in that, and you did a great job organizing that, Domingo and also Tanya. Yep.
Yeah, it was so difficult because we had so much plans, but it was like, oh, we were gonna do all of these. We had these Google Docs set up, but it was just, I really think we didn't know how bad COVID was gonna be. You know,
right? Exactly.
That's what really. We went in there with all good intentions, but it was pretty different. Ebenezer, can you check if the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is one of our small business guests, please, by making them a panelist? Galaxy Note 10 Plus.
In the downtime, I actually have a question. Isidro, you might actually know the answer to this better than
Okay, I
probably anyone
promoted
else
to panelist.
Okay. Because they don't have a name, so I was just wondering if this is one of our guests.
Okay, I promoted to panelist.
Can you unmute yourself, Galaxy Note 10 Plus?
They might not even know their Galaxy Note 10 Plus.
Domingo?
Yeah.
I also want you to be aware that somebody put in the Q&A, her name is Giselle Ascona Lubac, and she said she wanted to introduce herself as a resource for small business owners. So I just want you to be aware that person is in there.
We'll do that during announcements.
Okay.
What's her name? Giselle. So we'll make sure you do your introduction during announcements. All right. Oh yeah, that's Susana. Hey Susana, how's it going? Could you unmute yourself, please? Can you hear us? Because we can't hear you. I guess she'll come back. No se oye, Susana. Llama para atrás. Llama para atrás. Just call back. Entra para el link para atrás. All right. So yeah, so that's Susana Osorio. She owns several businesses in the community. She owns Mama Sushi, Bocadito, and which is the other one, Cindy? Puerco Latino, something like that.
Chinito Latino.
Chinito Latino. It's like a hibachi spot. So she has a few businesses on the Dykeman Strip. So she basically reached out. I'll give everybody some pretext as to how the conversation went, because there has been some, I believe, some individuals who've been harassing her and her business. So I invited her to speak on it. I know that the city now has like a mediation system between businesses and community members. So we were gonna see how that went and see how we could understand both arguments and see how we could create a middle ground and a compromise to make sure everybody walks home okay. So that was the conversation behind her wanting to speak. Jonathan, ¿cómo tú estás, mi rey? Ya tú no estás en este committee. Pero
Pues
you're
sí.
always welcome, though.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. So we're just waiting for her. But back to it. So Mariela, oh, she's back. So Mariela, back, like we'll figure it out. It's just we got to figure out how it's gonna work now because it's very interesting. But we do have about 200 businesses that provided their email in our events during the peak of COVID, who we could reach out to in the future months. I think a lot of the concerns that they were expressing to me was around there not being a plan for indoor dining during the winter. So I think that's something that we have to hold some sort of like town hall or conversation around, because I think it's going to impact a lot of our small businesses, being that we are so heavily restaurant influenced.
Okay, Domingo, I promoted again the cell phone before. She should be available to
You
talk
hear
now.
us, Susana?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yeah, we hear you. So, Susana, you have 10 minutes just to explain to us what's going on. This is our committee, and we'll be asking some questions after you're done.
Okay. So we've been going through a lot right now with all the harassment that we have from everyone. I'm not going to tell you only from the Department of Liquor Authority, because I know that they doing what they asked to do, but we following all the instructions. Thanks God that in Diamond Garden, that is Diamond and Broadway, all the way down to Diamond and Seaman. Oh well, Payson, because Mama Juana and Seawalk, and none of us, we've been behaving, we've been closing on time, we've been following rule and regulation. The other harassment that we have, that is the most serious, that I think is a couple of people that they're not part of this community. They just want to be part of this community, raising the boys, complaining about us, posting in social media, y doing, ¿cómo se dice propaganda, Víctor?
Propaganda?
Yeah, like promoting that we're doing, we're trying to survive in here. It's very hard. Look at myself. I'm overwhelmed. It's like I have to be here every day at 9 o'clock, making sure that we clean the street all the way from Broadway, ending in Payson. We have to go and collect the garbage daily. So making sure that everything is clean around this area, so we can make other people happy. Para hacer a otra persona que estén contenta, to make other people happy in the community, and they stop complaining about us. But that's not enough for them. They continue complaining and tagging other other office, Mayor Cuomo, De Blasio, they really got us. I'm very nervous about what's going on. And at the same time, the weather is not helping. And when they see that all of us, we put that tent to cover from the rain that is secure, they tag other office, the New York department. So I don't know what they're looking for. They need to stop harassing us.
Okay.
We're going through a lot emotionally in here. And at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to help us to open. They open everywhere around where I live in Yonkers. And it's crazy that in here, we've been treating like delinquents. I know that a lot of people, they haven't followed all the rule and regulation, but us, the one who been following the rule and regulation, Isidro, every night he gets a video from me, from this community, showing him the time that we close and how we leave the street in the night, how we clean up the street and everything. And they're still not happy. They're still harassing. So I don't know how we're going to survive. Honestly, I'm scared.
Okay.
Do you want to ask me any question? Anybody?
I have a question. Unless Domingo, you want to go first, you can go first.
Okay, cool. So what I'll do is I'll just try to like sum it up so we could have an understanding of what she said. And then I have Tanya. So use that raise hand feature if you can on the Zoom, and that's gonna make it easier. Let me see. Cindy, you think you can help me with that? Like whenever you see a hand, just let me know who goes next. All right. So I right now I got Tanya, Isidro, and then that's it. Okay. So Susana, I got three things. Individuals who don't live in the community, some looking for some sort of way of bringing down local businesses for whatever interest they try to oppose, like regulations and like it being very unclear or vague as to like what are the protocols, what type of support city agencies are providing in order to be able to develop that understanding. The SLA, I think the SLA is more because of the governor. I'm sure the governor has a lot of pressure on the SLA right now because of the situation that transpired in Queens, and then making sure that that doesn't happen. That's from what I've been able to gather. There's a lot of pressure on the SLA, so I'm sure that they're walking a very thin line right now. And just being like the uncertainty of what's going to happen. So now, before I ask my questions, I'm gonna call on Tanya, Isidro, and Mariela in that order. So,
Susana,
Yes.
hi. First of all, I want to say I love the food. I ordered from your restaurant that's below 6165.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's been a mainstay of mine during the shutdown. But I wanted to ask you, I wonder who are you saying is harassing you? Have you identified who people are, and what is the nature of their complaints? What are they saying? So who are these people, and what are they saying you're doing?
Okay, so let me tell you, it's Twitter page. I never had a Twitter page. I opened one, to try to get a communication to that person. And I have Victor, my nephew. His name is Victor Santo. He's the manager in Mama Juana. And it's a Twitter page. The name of the Twitter page is Inwo Keeping Them For Real. So you know what? They even tagged Mario Cuomo one day. I was not working. I was standing with my son like that, and they took a picture of myself. It's a person that doesn't have a life, and I tried to communicate with a person because if they keep taking picture of everything what's going on. Like for example, when I did that red thing to cover from the rain, she posted that she or he, I don't know who it is, because we send them a DM, what they call in Twitter, asking that person if we can sit down to discuss what they bothered, what we can do to work together. and that person is not interesting. It's a person that it's a page that is acting, and then that page tag a couple of TV reporter, and they replied to them, and they using the video to post it, the video that she made of us to post it in TV. And I say, but this doesn't help us. If you come to Dykeman, you can come with that thing that you can merge the social distancing, and you're gonna see each restaurant, Mama Juana, Isole, Taboo, Papacito, Diamond Bar, and Parkview, we all have the social distancing, because even if it's not my restaurant, are responsible for this program that they open in the street. And when I put my name in something, everyone have to respect, and everybody is being followed the rule. That's what Liquor Authority come here 3 and 4 times a day, and they have never since the 22 of June, they have give us any warning or any ticket, because everybody's wearing the mask. All the employees are following the rule and regulation, and our customers have to respect us when they come in. Because right now, if you don't know how to run your place, they take away your liquor license. You understand? And that page, they can come anytime, and they're looking for any little things to post it in social media. That's harassing. Because they tag Mayor Cuomo, they tag de Blasio, they tag DOT, they tag all the department that you can imagine.
Okay.
And
I want to say one thing. I want to ask you, so I want a little bit more about what they're saying you're doing, but I also wanted to say if you feel that you are paying for what some other people on Dykeman are doing.
Of course.
Are you sort of paying the price?
Yes.
For my association. I you know what I mean?
You know my feeling? Yeah. Listen, Isidro is my witness. Isidro is in this group, and he knows that I send him a video every day. I only took 3 days off last week because I had a breakdown. With that page that is, I feel like we're being attacked. And because other people, and everything that happened up here is called Dykeman. It happened in 207, that black party that they have overnight into the morning. They put Dykeman, and they tag all the mayor's office. Anything that happened in 10th Avenue, they put Dykeman. Anything that happened anywhere in Uptown and Inwood, they say Dykeman. And that's a problem. Dykeman, like one of the inspectors from the Liquor Authority, he told me very clear. You know what happened? That Dykeman is like, I'm not going to tell you the work that he told me. We have bad reputation, but you guys doing good, which I agree. And listen, and I respect all those inspectors when they come around. They're doing a job, because other people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
But you know what? We get nervous.
All right. So, Isidro, dale.
So thank you, Domingo, and your committee members for allowing me to be part of this meeting. I'm very grateful for all the work that all these restaurateurs have done for the community. As you know, Domingo, and the members, these restaurants, they work really, really hard to make their dreams come true. And it's really ugly to know that the way that enforcement has been done has not been proportionate. So, as far as like the harassment that Susana is going through, I've seen that. I've seen videos, and to respond to your question, Tanya, there is a video where some people, male, go around Dykeman, particularly where Susana is, kicking the fences and actually arguing with clientele. And that is the sole purpose, to make sure that the clientele doesn't attend these businesses anymore. So there is a video. I think Susana will have that video at hand. It's really sad because we know that the people who are doing this don't want to see these businesses prosper, right? And we kind of know who they are, but that'll be something that the police should take over, because I think that it's really, really messed up. And then those businesses like Susana's, Soleil, and many others that do adhere to the restrictions and the policies set by the city, those are the businesses that get fully attacked. I have witnessed many businesses on Dyckman, which are not part of that area where Susana is, where they will open up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I question why they never have their licenses suspended. We know that SLA is taking the licenses away. We know for businesses in Inwood that the licenses have been taken away. And that's because most of them were doing really, really serious violations. Is it fair? Maybe, maybe not. But there were some businesses that were doing even worse. And the question is, why isn't like a proportionate and equal enforcement of the law taking place? That is the question, right? So I've been to many places where businesses can get tagged by the noise level. Domingo, I'm sure you know about the mountain bikes that now they make explosion. So I was sitting at a restaurant and about 5 individuals came by and they were just blowing that up.
That's a dirt bike.
The dirt bike, right? And then like 3 or 4 minutes later, the NYPD comes by and they were saying that a shootout was reported on the restaurant. And we said like, here, no. And then at other places, we get the same problem. And then those noise provoked by the dirt bikes are tagged in to the restaurants and the bars. And whenever they call 311, they're calling about the restaurants. So it's something that we have to be cognizant about. Some of the problems that these businesses are facing, not all of them are innocent, but I can tell you that where Susana lies, along with Mama Sushi, Mama Juana, Soleil, they're complying. And they're not going to get many summonses because they follow the regulations, bless you, of the SLA. But again, when we ask for enforcement about the mountain bikes or dirt bikes, they should be enforced.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this business is not going to survive.
Yeah, Isidro, and I think that it comes back to the importance of licensing and business development working together, at least in I think something that's mutually something that I would say is both within our interest is one, understanding the 311 debacle, the weaponization of 311, but also being able to speak on how there's certain there's a lack of guidances provided to small businesses, lack of support from city agencies to be able to bridge that connect of understanding what compliance is and isn't. And I think that's certain areas that we could work on. But I think one of the areas that we definitely have to work on is developing a town hall around what's the future of small businesses, restaurants during COVID. And I think we should plan that together. We should speak about it because that's going to be extremely important. And it's life or death, right? A lot of these businesses are not going to survive a winter without indoor dining or some sort of compromise that the city's willing to let certain codes or certain guidelines to be able to compromise and be able to figure that out. Because right now the mayor's logic is that there's certain people that are not going to be that are not going to have access to indoor dining. But the logic has always been, I always wanted to stay at the Taj Mahal. It doesn't mean I could afford it, right? So it's like there's a real disconnect there that I think we have to advocate for it together. So and I'll contact you offline. Mariela Graham is next, followed by Crawford, and then Christina, if I'm not mistaken, Cindy.
It's Cynthia, Christina, then Tanya.
Okay. So
Sure.
Mariela, go ahead.
Yeah, so it sounds from what I've heard that there are like two parts to this. One is the harassment of the business from individuals. So that example that Isidro gave about, people kicking fences and arguing with customers. So that seems like one piece that I agree with Isidro is like a police matter. Like that is not any kind of like regulation related piece. But I had a question about, and someone had written this also in the chat. I still don't understand exactly what the grievances have been. Like, what is, like, so, I mean, I could go on Twitter and try to find what exactly they're saying about these businesses, and what have the repercussions been besides these visits by the SLA, which I can understand are very stressful. But you mentioned that there was, like, you know, they're tagging the governor and they're tagging the mayor and all of these electeds, and I wonder, is that the repercussion, just the tagging that is the concern?
Susana? I think she froze. Susana, are you there? I think her internet froze. She's like frozen right now. But yeah, so as she gets back with the connection, yeah, it seems like there's two layers. One is around like the policing aspect, and the other one is the city and governmental agencies. Susana, no, you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, so did you get to hear what Mariela asked?
No, it was in mute for 1 second. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tell me now. Tell me that I'm learning.
So my question was, I have two questions. One is, I still don't understand what are the exact complaints that these people are making. So that's my first question. The second one is, have there been repercussions? You mentioned that part of the stress of being harassed and via Twitter is that they're tagging the mayor and the governor and elected officials. And I'm wondering, has anything happened as a result of that tagging on Twitter?
Mariela, thank you for asking. You see that we send a video every night. We close by not later than 10:50, 10:45. And everything what happened after that time, all the motorcycle, all the noise that they're going around, they start taking picture and sending to them. But the way that they take the picture is kind of tricky. It can show that it's coming from around here. They got on top of the gas station, but we are closed. And the other thing that they're harassing is on the weekend. When they see people walking, then blaming on us. When they see people walking on both sides of the sidewalk that is across the street, that is the park, people that they just standing there, hanging out, they think that's the restaurant. And everything was going on in our patio. Like, if any type of umbrella, anything that we put in there, they tag me the city so they can come and do inspection. It's so many things that I would love to forward to you guys so you could see what's going on.
Okay.
It's not only one. They complain about anything that's what's going on. And let me tell you, what we're trying to do everything the right way so they don't get any complaint from us, because we're looking forward that they close the street permanently next year. We behaving like a good little kids doing the job, so they can see that we're not getting tickets, we're not getting any violation of anything, because we're doing our job and our side.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's just harassing from a couple of people. Like I say, it's not a whole bunch of people. It's a couple of people that they have good contact and they know how to get to those big people that want to hurt us. I can hear you.
Oh no, yeah, I understand, and yes, that's nothing new, Susana. Like, it's a lot of bad, what you call urban planning, because if you go to Spain, there's a lot of like different areas where you see restaurants and these type of businesses having street closures in order to be able to deal with. But that's another conversation. Next, we have.
Can I say something else? I just went to a couple of places all the way downtown, and they had the street closed completely. And you know what they did? They put so much pressure on us. We used to have the whole street open. putting, so we can have all our employees back to work. Right now, we only have the open street Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because basically that's what they approve in the city. So it's still a closed street, but we don't put the table. And you know what they was doing, the motorcycle? And everyone that you can imagine, they was coming over, hanging out in there, and doing so many things that it was not fair for us, that we spend so much money trying to make people feel comfortable when they come into eat on the street. We put plants, flower, we invest so much money that we didn't have. We was asking people, hey, can you help us with this, with that? And it's still not making people happy. They just don't want to see us in here. And I'm sorry. I am part of the economy of this country. And closing us down is not going to help us, like you say. Taking out delivery is not gonna keep us open. What's gonna happen with all my employees? What's gonna happen to them?
Yeah. So next we have who we have next, Cindy? I think it's Nobles and then Christina.
Yes,
And
it's
then-
Nobles, then Cynthia, then Christina.
Okay.
Cool.
And Tanya.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, go ahead, Nobles.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot for telling us your story, Susanna. I really appreciate it. And, it takes a lot of courage to come and just lay it all on the line. So I totally get that. So mine's kind of a question and also a little bit of advice. I'll do the advice first. So I work extensively in digital media, especially social media. I run the marketing for Lysol and Airwick and stuff like that. And I can tell you that that people might tag you in those tweets harassing you, which is definitely harassment in the way that you've described it. But I can almost guarantee you that if they're going above our local electeds like Adonis or Mark, those folks are probably not going to be paying attention to your tweet. So take a little bit of solace there, unless like the account that was tweeting you has a very high follower count. That would be different, but it sounds like it does not.
Did you
So
know
take a
that?
little bit of solace.
Did you
Sorry?
know Inwood keeping them for real? Why don't you follow them and try to be a mediator?
I'll take a look here. But also too, another piece of advice is, and it sounds like you're doing it, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you're responding to those tweets with pictures of or video of you doing things right and by the book. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a Twitter now. We have an Instagram. It's called Diamond Garden, and it put all the good things and how we do it around here.
Okay. I think as long as you're responding to those harassing tweets with the video or the pictures countering their narrative, you'll definitely be okay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And this is actually leads to a question. And Isidro, I was asking earlier, this actually might be a better question for you to answer instead of me, because you see the overall picture in the neighborhood. Has there been like an instance of targeting citations or tickets for restaurants by by different New York organizations or entities of our local government? Have you seen that in our neighborhood?
So, Novo, the NYPD has not been really active enforcing the regulations imposed by the city and the state. I will give them credit for giving those clients and the merchants some type of break, if you may say that.
Of course.
But when it comes to SLA, which is a state-run agency, there are a lot of issues there. I've seen videos with state inspectors themselves have coming into businesses without wearing masks or face covering. And they are the ones penalizing the businesses with a huge amount of money in summonses. Every violation is $10,000. And if they have like 3 employees that are not wearing face mask, that'll be $30,000. And when I saw the video of this state inspector, who, by the way, doesn't have to be SLA trained. I don't know if you're aware, but the governor has called in different inspectors from different areas, and then are fully trained on the regulations set by the SLA. Thus bringing a lot of problems, because how can you enforce regulations that you yourself are violating?
Right.
The case with the video, it was clearly shown that an inspector came into a premise without wearing a mask. So that was troubling, and I hope that these things will change. But it's mostly the state that is enforcing the regulations, and based on what I've seen, some of them do violate some restrictions. But how can you impose anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 summonses to businesses that are just coming out of the pandemic? I mean, it's
Is
hard
it
to
random?
describe.
Is it random where they walk? Like I'm assuming they go on patrol. They try to find, infractions and stuff like that, or is it targeted? Like, do they go to specific places? Do you know their process in that?
Based on what I understand from the SLA, they go by way of complaints that they receive.
Okay.
And again, that could be a weaponization of the 311, but it can also be that, based on previous issues, they're targeting those places. But other than that, they're saying that it's all about random inspections.
Okay. So Susanna, I think that you're handling this the correct way. I think that you're doing a good job if you're posting pictures of your clothing and things like that, just to put on the record that you're doing things by the book. Because I'm assuming you can probably appeal if you were to be ticketed or something. I think you could appeal that. And if you have the proof that you're doing this by the book, I don't think it'll be too much of a challenge, but keep it up. This sucks, and I totally feel for you. But I think you're doing the right stuff. That's all. Thanks, Domingo.
All right, thank you. So the next, the next board member is Christina, right? Cindy? Christina, I believe. And then
Next
Tanya.
board member, yeah. So we have a attendee that would like to speak.
Yeah, but usually the board members speak first, and then we'll let the
Okay, so we
attendee
have
speak.
Christina, then Tanya.
All right, Christina, go ahead.
Hi, Susana. How are you? Firstly, can she hear me? It looks like she's frozen.
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay. Firstly, I just want to thank you for sharing that. It sounds very unfortunate. I personally have celebrated some of the most beautiful things, my engagements at your place, and I have nothing but wonderful things to say about your place. And you included, as a manager, have walked up to me and you've just been so kind and warm. So I'm so sorry you're going through this. I almost feel like the emotion that you're sharing here, and I can see the stress. And I just want to firstly say sorry about that, but I do have some questions, okay? So my questions to you are, besides this Twitter page, right? And I understand there's various social media accounts that are sort of doing this. Is there anybody else or anything else happening besides the social media platforms that are harassing you guys?
Yes. So thank you for asking. This is a good, if you ask me a question, I'll be able to answer, because my head is like this right now. So, when we was going back in April, when we had the problem that we had to cover our glass with all this wood, and all the kids from the neighborhood in the local adage, they came in paint, they took the time, and they did such a beautiful art. And when we remove it from our front, we didn't want to throw them out. Everything started there. When I asked Park if I can put all those memorial right in front of our establishment, but across the street in the park, that lady from the park, she was hysterical. She sent me an email. She was saying that we're not allowed to put that in there. I say, but how come I'm gonna throw away all this value art that are all these young kids from this neighborhood? They spend the time. They during the pandemic, when it was that problem, Black Lives Matter, that we had to cover everything. They came and drew all this picture. All this art, all this they painted. And I don't want to throw it out. They are so beautiful. And I think this is part of this community. And the park doesn't have a name and an honor. And we want to put them in there. Those are memorial. And everything started in there. That they was attacking me because everyone knows that it was me, the one who was working with them, putting everything together. And I don't, everybody knows that lady from the park. Everyone know her, everyone. I don't even have to mention name in here. And everything is starting there, that she doesn't want those memorial in there. And that's when they create that page, Inwood Keeping It For Real in Twitter. And that page only attack us in here. Everything from the corner seawall or the corner of they even put in a lot of paper. They make a lot of copies and they put it everywhere. If it's somebody gonna get killed, blame Susana from Mama Sushi and Isolette. That day when I wake up, that my neighbor from up here told me, what's going on? They putting a lot of paper everywhere. If it's somebody get killed crossing the street, to blame me and Isolette. I showed that to Mr. Adriano Espaillat, to Idanes. I got all those papers. They made copies and they put it everywhere around the park, around the borough, those NYPD borough that they put everywhere. I said, what are they trying to say? I start crying because that's harassing. You know, I like to be known very well in this community as a person that work with this community. Not that I'm against on my community. I grew up in here. And you know what they're doing? They're doing a lot of meeting in that park, in Seaman, in Dykeman. They all get together in there. And you know what they will say? They should have resound this area and take out all these restaurants. What's going on? You know, we had another chance in life to survive. And they're attacking us like this.
Yeah.
They don't know that I'm about to lose Bocadito.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hear you, Susana, and the most important role that we could play is trying to figure out how we can mediate and really try to see how we could speak to the proper resources to make sure that we work together as a community and solve a lot of these issues. Next, yeah.
When they did that meeting 3 weeks ago, because some of the neighbors, they really care. And they sent me all those videos when they call all those TV channels, those reporters to talk about this neighborhood. What are you talking about of quality life? We close at 11 p.m. Whatever happened after 11 p.m. is not our fault. That's NYPD. And I'm not going to risk my life, to save the Blasios, because he's not sending it, the police doesn't want to be involved. When I close my door at 11 p.m., I leave this place because we're not even supposed to be around in case that they come. I don't want it to misunderstand that I'm still open. So everything what happened, they're talking about quality life. What do you mean by quality life? We close at 11. It's not our fault. What's going on after that? It's somebody else.
Yeah. So
that's harassing.
So I hear you, Susana, and one of the areas that I see that you're already working with Isidro, but one of the areas we could support in, and I feel like it's important to engage. Social media is always going to be social media, so at the end of the day, I might not know you personally, but I know that you've done a lot of great work in the community. You collaborate on a lot of different levels. There's individuals that have an understanding that living in the city is like living in the suburbs, and that's how they perceive living within the inner city. But I also think that we have to figure out how to work together as a community, and because there's going to be a lot of troubling months coming ahead. The mayor right now is talking about no outdoor dining, and I think like those are areas we could collaborate. As far as some of the complaints that are going on, I think you're already doing a great job. You made that little corridor right there beautiful with all the paintings and everything that's happening now. Everybody in the city is copying that, so it speaks to a lot. But like what I would say is, I learned this at a very young age, man. Haters are gonna always hate. There's nothing you can really do about it. But as long as you are conducting yourself properly, and you're understanding that your business does impact your immediate surroundings, and you're able to put systems in place that's able to make sure that you're covered, I don't think you have much to worry about. You're one of the most commendable businesses owners uptown, you know, so that alone should at least give you a peace of mind. While you have all these businesses closing down, you got people copying what you're doing in your vicinity, you know. So I think that's something that's important to know. The questions, there's some questions here speaking about a fire escape.
Domingo, I actually had another
I
comment.
hear you, but I haven't asked the question yet. So I'm just gonna ask these questions, and then I got you and Isidro, because both of you have your hands up.
So you're gonna finish with me so I can tell you something else to end this conversation with me?
No. I have something I need to ask her. So
it's okay. You have asked several questions already. I'm gonna ask the Q&A questions, and then I'm gonna go back to you and Isidro. All right?
And Domingo, we have an attendee that has their hand raised as well.
Okay, so let's let the attendee talk. I asked the Q&A questions, and then I'll allow repeat questions.
Wait, I thought that we were doing board members first.
No, you asked the question already, Tanya.
But my question was very short, and then I didn't get to do a lot of follow-up. Other people did speak longer than I did. Mine was very quick and very cut off. So I do have follow-up, and I think that board members should be able to ask these questions. And while she's here, I want to get some clarity. So that's what I'm saying.
She is here. We're gonna follow the stack. Cynthia said,
I'm next, actually. I'm actually next. Yeah.
No, you're not. Cynthia, go ahead.
I am.
Put Ebenezer, put Cynthia to speak. Cynthia Auburn, she's on the attendees.
She's not a board member.
Every board member has the ability to speak. Now we're gonna allow other people to speak as well, Tanya.
She has been promoted to a panelist now.
Okay, thanks.
I actually take offense to that, because if we're going to say that we're going to let board members ask their questions, then we should do that.
Thank you.
This is
yes, Cynthia.
I yield my time to Tanya.
Thank you, Cynthia.
All right.
So I would like to ask you a question, Susanna, because one of the points.
Ebenezer, send Cynthia back to the attendees, please.
Okay, Susanna, yes, one of the things, this is absolutely horrible, and one of the things that I cannot stand is for somebody who is doing what they're supposed to do to be harmed by other knuckleheads doing what they're not supposed to be doing, right? It's like guilt by association, because you're just in the same vicinity and they're doing stuff outside of your business. That's unacceptable. What I wanted to say is, I think what's missing in this conversation is, and I think that's going to be an important element, is addressing those people who are doing these things. Because until we address the knuckleheads, the bad players, the people that are outside your business doing this nonsense, and that's going to have to be a part of it. If people are going to just associate you with stuff knuckleheads are doing outside of your business after you're closed. I can tell you an example where I am. Outside of a business, fools were out there, like 30, 40 people were out there barbecuing. They had a freaking grill at 3 o'clock in the morning, barbecuing and having a party, triple part outside of these businesses. Well, the businesses were not happy about that. They said, this is being associated with us. We're not this. So I think instead of just saying, oh, it's the 311s and it's just this and it's outside people, and it very well may be. I saw license plates outside of there that were not New York, that were out there doing this. But it's also, what I'm saying is, we need to, as a committee, also address knuckleheads and fools busy running around, disturbing this community, giving businesses like yours a bad name by going out there acting a fool outside of your establishment. That needs to be addressed. We cannot just say, well, we're not going to solve this. We don't solve the other problems that are also occurring in this community. There are people, like you said, these drag races. Why are they outside your place? And why are we letting these people come in here acting like this is a free-for-all? Why is that even allowed? And people are going to do, people don't know. All they see is your business, and they're going to see these fools and they're going to just say it's businesses. All of these businesses doing it, right? So what I'm saying is this needs to be a conversation. We can't give other knuckleheads a pass. I support businesses as much as anybody else. But what I do not support is people not doing what they're supposed to do and hurting legit businesses like yours that are legit doing what they're supposed to do, following all the rules, and making problems for a legit business like you. And that's what I don't want to see. And we're not addressing that. We keep getting past that. We keep speaking past it. Well, we don't want to know. We need to address that. My recommendation is what I said. We need to address these people that are doing this stuff. Well, I, for one, was one of the people that said that, you know, been leading the efforts. It's like do a task force to bring all these agencies together, to bring small business to the table, to bring all these people together and elected officials to come up with these solutions, to figure out how to deal with these knuckleheads that are out here doing stuff that they're not supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, they hurt people like this woman. That's real. At the end of the day, these fools are hurting legit people that have nothing to do with it. So that's Susanna, I welcome you to the table. If you want to are doing this task force, that you come to the table and that you and other businesses
talking about?
The noise task force, the task force that was pitched at the noise pollution public hearing on August 4th.
Okay, so
we took years, and I say years, I mean years, to get to the table to talk about these fools, exactly the type of stuff she's talking about, from the drag racers to people acting foolish outside of these businesses, causing people problems. That's the type of stuff that we want to address. And what I am saying is that needs to be part of the conversation. It can't be, well, we're going to give fools a pass, because we can't do that. It's hurting the people who are doing what they're supposed to do. We have to address that too. And my solution is that I welcome you to be a part of that conversation so that we can address those bad players along with some of the other stuff that you're talking about. But I welcome you. I think that needs to be something that you will need to do. And I'm sorry I'm giving you another job because you don't deserve that.
Yeah, but I would love to speak to somebody. Yeah.
Right. And if we bring you and other business owners that need this relief from these fools, please come to the table with this task force. Please be a part of that.
I hear that people often get, but we have to be very careful, you know, on how we address other people, right? Because those fools, who knows? Those fools might be cops. I'm sure you call 911 all the time, right? So
yeah, because I got to get some sleep.
I know,
because I actually work, okay, and I got to get some sleep, okay.
I'm sure.
So yes, I'm going to do that.
I'm sure.
And I don't call 911. I call 311. I'm speaking to the Parks Department right now.
And understand,
I'm dealing with the Parks Department right now.
Back and forth, because it seems like you're pretty.
It's not a back and forth. It's not a back and forth. I'm talking and you're interrupting me. And I'm saying right now, I'm saying what I said, and I mean what I said. And I meant what I said. Is that we need to bring people. We need to bring people together.
I hear you, but you're out of order.
To come up with these solutions.
Thank you for your recommendation. Like I said, we have to be very careful, because as we understand, society has already dehumanized certain individuals to the point where people feel that their lives are not worth it. So we have to be very careful with our language and understanding that society is very complex. And with those complexities, we also have to push ourselves to be able to understand and be able to really understand that this is something that's not new, you know, and that this is something that historically has had certain evolutions and etc. But I was just gonna say, let's be careful with how we address other human beings, and let's be careful with what we try to imply when we are speaking. That's about it. Just to close out, Susana, because there's a lot going on and it's already 8:20. I want to thank you for coming by. I understand that it's very stressful. That's why I commend you for being able to speak your truth. We will stay in communication, see what we can do on our end to be able to align any resources we have available to be able to work with you. But at the same time, resolve any of the community complaints that the community might have and see how if they're real. Because from what I've been able to gather from you, there's a lot of stuff that's just pure speculations and are being created by outside forces that doesn't necessarily have to do with you. So I want to thank you for taking the time for coming by. And in our follow up, we'll make sure to really identify who these players are and have Ebenezer in the office contact them to provide a follow up. All right. Is there
Okay.
anything you would like to say in closing?
Okay, before we close, just to let you know, since sanitation is not cleaning the street, you
Yes,
see those
agreed.
garbage can that they put on the street? Those one, we are taking care of that. I take care of the one between Broadway and Diamond all the way down. So I bought 10 big garbage can and I put it right next to Mama Sushi. And every time we change the garbage bag, we put them in there just in case. One of my employees told me that somebody came and took a picture of that.
Yeah.
But the reason why I have it up there is because we are the one who cleaning the street between Broadway all the way to Payson.
Yeah, correct.
So
And-
because sanitation is not picking up the garbage, so we are responsible for that. We have in total 6 big garbage can that we have to collect every day, like 2 or 3 times a day. When it gets full, we take them and we bring that over here. At night, I take it out myself with my garbage and I put them in there.
Okay, that's understandable, especially it's gonna get worse with the 20% cut that they're about to receive. So
Yeah, but they already took a picture, and
Yeah.
that page is gonna put up, look, Mama Sushi now is trying to take all the black, putting all this garbage can outside. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why they're outside, because we have to collect all the garbage from everywhere because we don't want Dykeman to look like a like a garbage can
Yeah.
right now. That is garbage all over the place.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Have a good one. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me. I'm here
Thank
if you
you.
need me anytime. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So there was some questions that we will about. Seems like there's a lot of people worried about awnings, safety on the streets. We will get Susana. Since you're still here, there's a question and they've asked it like 20 times.
So that means that they must to know this page because
Yeah.
that was the same thing that the page was attacking me about that. The awning has a big hole that by the fire department, I asked the fire department how big I have to leave that, and they helped me with that. So I follow the rule and regulation of the city of New York because
Okay,
it was
that's
an
your
inspector.
answer because it was a unanimous person. It was a unanimous attendee.
I
That's your
can take I can take it to you now outside and I can show you a big hole that's what I need to have in there by the city of New York, to have the awning over there. That's for the 5K. If it's an emergency, they have to jump through there.
Okay.
And we don't put tables in there. We don't put table, no table.
All right. So that's your response. So now we're gonna transition over to the next item on the agenda, which is community partner updates. Isidro, do you have any updates from the bid? Has the bid worked on anything in the summer?
So we worked on distributing all the educational literature that was given out by the city to all of our merchants. We also proceeded to give out face coverings to all our merchants, along with social distancing the cost to all our merchants in the area. It has been a challenge, Domingo, as all of you know as well. We have to do something as far as bringing or doing an update on the social or digital divide that we have in the community. A lot of our merchants are having problems because, and again, Juan can attest to this, the accountant messed up, or the accountant didn't give you the proper attention or love, and or the merchants themselves didn't have the documents in place. So there has to be an education aspect of it. I think that in different areas, if we have all this information available, it can help a lot of them, but we need food on the grounds. We need more resources so that this information can be distributed equally and proportionally to all of our merchants. I find out that the issue about the Hispanic Federation in handling a grant that was given through the office of Congressman Espaillat and the hospital, the complaint that I have heard is that there has to be transparent. This list, whoever is keeping this list open, should make this list open and available to everyone as to who received the grant and how much. I have spoken with people at the Miran Group, and they have stated that they cannot lay out or distribute the list. I don't know why, and that was the main argument that this lady from iOpens, Elisette Caballero, she was complaining about how come this list is not available? How come this list is not made public? We need to know who's getting what. From the bid perspective, I'm a little bit concerned about that my merchants have not been properly awarded this grant. I think that they all are deserving. We need to find out what is that we have to do as an agency to make sure that we provide all information. And besides providing the information, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to contact all these businesses one by one. Oftentimes they're not at the store. You have to come back 3 or 4 times a day to see if they're there. And I'm not blaming the merchants, because, you know, our merchants, they have to be the accountant, they have to be the dishwasher, they have to be the bartender. They got to do a lot of things, right? So if we're going to make a commitment that we want to help the community, let's be transparent.
Okay. And what's the name of the grant? I'm sorry, so I could follow up. So you said this was something done by Congressman Espaillat and
Hispanic Federation, along with the hospital.
So from my understanding, the person responsible for managing it was Hispanic Federation. The money was given from the hospital, and I guess the congressman helped promote.
Correct.
Okay. So we have to be reaching out to somebody at the hospital who, okay, so what's the name? That's the Uptown, what? What was the name of the grant? It was a name for it. It was the Uptown. I'll look into it.
I cannot recall the name offhand, but you know, those were the concerns that Elisette Caballero was going to bring to the meeting.
Okay.
And I think it's a real concern, and it should not be a problem that this be addressed.
Especially if there's resources meant towards our community and there's nothing being awarded towards it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I do have an update. If it's now, I can do it now. And this is concerning the Postway on 181st, or you want to leave that for later on?
This is your time now, so you have another 5 minutes before we move on. I know Jacqueline from Cloth will not be available due to she transitioned out to her previous job. I believe she's working for the East Side Settlement, and then the individuals from the both chambers never responded. So you're the only one. So I can even give you an additional 5 minutes.
Okay, so great. And again, going back to this grant, the chamber should have gotten more information. The community board should have been involved in this committee, because I'm sure, Domingo, that you know a lot of businesses that, because you are on the ground, you understand their problems.
See.
So, you know, that's just something that I wanted to add. Now, coming back to the busway, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the city and DOT, they're proposing to make 181st between Amsterdam to Broadway as a busway, similar to what 14th Street is all about, right? Now, I could understand the city in promoting this idea, but as Gail Brewer once said, you know, we want to make sure that if this is going to happen, that boots on the ground get in place, because we really have to dissect how this is going to affect Northern Manhattan. And there are many, many different reasons, from losing parking spots to the critical question about safety on a Friday afternoon. God forbid there's a fire on 181st between Ottawa and St. Nicholas. The firefighters will not be able to get in because it's so densely congested. So I can see the city perspective on this, right? But your committee should be invited to a meeting that's going to take place this Thursday. You're familiar with that, Domingo, right? There's a meeting scheduled. So Denise is aware, and so is the chair, Eliezer. They are invited on this meeting, and I think that you and your committee members should be invited to this meeting because you have different perspective, right? That's going to take place on this Thursday at 3 o'clock. Denise has all the information, so he can share that later on. Now, if you think about the Busway, right? When you take into account the hotel that is going to open up on 81st, the office tower that's going to open up on 81st in Amsterdam, the retail space that's going to open up on the Youngwood project, plus the new charter school that's going to open up right next to it, it's going to open up within a year and a half.
You got the mini mall.
The mini mall coming to 181st. Target is coming to 181st and St. Nicholas. Chipotle is coming to 180th and Broadway. So this area is popping. I mean, I appreciate all this development, but we also have to be cognizant of the problems they're going to face. I have spoken with Yeshiva University. They're a little bit concerned about the impact that the Bronx Manhattan bound traffic is going to have on Yeshiva University. I'm also concerned about the impact it's going to have on our local schools. As you know, Domingo, you are 183rd and Wadsworth, but we have at least 4 different schools from Amsterdam to Broadway on 182nd. When all these things open up, it's going to be chaotic. Now, the question that I raised previously in the meeting was, DOT must make an assessment on how things are going to affect if this busway is going to be implemented. I have spoken with a lot of businesses. The main concern about is just losing parking spaces, but they also understand that it's going to create more foot traffic. It's going to increase our sale. And we understand that when sale increases, employments are not going to be affected, and thus keeping a lot of employees in line, right? So those are the key factors that from economic development, we want to make sure that they are there. Yeah. Keeping jobs, bringing new businesses to the area, but at the same time, keep sanity in the sense of traffic mess. So when up, it's going to create some issues. We have to ask DOT about the assessment to see how things are going to be played in a domino effect. Whether traffic is going to go, the Bronx bound traffic will have to use either 183rd or 180th. So imagine all the traffic going to these streets, it's going to be immense. If they have an answer for that, that would be great. But these are things that we have to make sure that we answer. That we ask.
And it's unfortunate that everything impacts us disproportionately. They closed down the entrance via the Fort Washington, via the park to AA, and now you see this congestion on Broadway between Fairview, which is like 190, all the way to 190, I think that's Nagel, where it's nonstop traffic for no reason, and I think, so I'll reach out to the chair. I'll get more information and I'll email it to everybody in the committee, just in case they want to participate. I will also be emailing, Susana sent me the picture of it's an awning by the fire escape. It's the proper, I'll send it to everybody just so everybody could see that it's in compliance with the fire department. And if there's anything else, is there any old business that we haven't touched upon? New business? With that being,
Yeah, I had some new business.
what's the new business?
Let's see. I was thinking that you already talked about this, but just that we discussed open restaurants, open streets. What's going to happen to our businesses once winter hits?
So,
And that's a concern. Yes, but that was one. And then I wanted to talk about. I was interested in terms of the impact of the shutdown in terms of our business vacancy rates. Before the pandemic, we had a much higher vacancy rate than all of Manhattan. And so I'm curious about who survived and who didn't, and what that means. Like, how many businesses did we lose, and what is the impact and implications of that for this community? So yeah, I mean, I know that
do
I
you
don't
know who
know.
conducted that study? Do you have anybody in mind?
Well, I mean, Clough, of course, did the Avenue NYC. They did the survey that, of course, they came before us last
That was
September.
pre-pandemic.
Right, that was pre-pandemic. We were still very high. I think we were like 19% or so. It was very high. I don't want to quote a wrong percentage, but it was higher than Manhattan. But I was just curious, now that we've come out of it, because we've talked nationally about all the businesses that are closing and that have closed and they did not survive. And I just want to know what that impact, what did the pandemic do to our community?
Correct.
Yes, Isidro, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's something that we're gonna have to reach out to the comptroller. I guess he's the one that does those type of studies. Isidro?
Yeah, so we just conducted a survey within the bid here, right? And we have about 250 businesses, Tanya. Word of mouth has come to me that we have lost about 4 businesses due to COVID, including a Típico Domingo, which is a large restaurant. One of
Oh,
the
they
largest that we
closed?
have. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. And that was because of COVID. Big problems where we lost close to 100 people that used to work there. Really sad. And then we lost 3 all the smaller businesses who, owners passed or have been extremely sick, and they could no longer, keep the places open. So we lost like about 4 businesses. Now, Broadway has a problem when it comes to vacancy, and that's citywide. And when Clough presented the findings, we found that, like Tanya, you indicated, anywhere from 17 to 19% of vacancy. That is really high. Within the bid on 181st, it's lower. We're standing at around 8.7 right now, which is really, really low. Dyckman, I will tell you that we did some study pre-COVID, and that was about 13%. The city just gave us a good news that we're going to do further studies on Dyckman and Inwood. So we're going to do research to see how COVID affected the vacancy rate in Inwood. So we're going to have people on the ground once we gather all the resources. So we're going to have some answers for you, Tanya, about how many businesses were hit and affected by COVID, hopefully within a couple of months.
All right. So back to it. Back to my idea around the need for a town hall. So Cindy, Isidro, and I'll hit up a few of the associations so that we could do a town hall either next month or the month after around the impact, but also how do we move forward and how do we provide support to small businesses moving forward, and how do we effectively advocate so that businesses, if they're not supposed to open, then the city should be able to take out loans to be able to give to these businesses to be able to replace their income loss. And I think that's going to be extremely important that demands are established, because I'm not the type that's going to encourage people to go clean the streets when our taxes pay for sanitation, So I think it's extremely important that as taxpayers, we are also taking full advantage of the resources that we're paying for. And I think that's something that's is extremely important to note. We are paying for these resources. That the city has certain shortfalls, that's their responsibility. But as taxpayers, we're already contributing. We want our streets to be clean, and we also want some sort of bailout for our small businesses so that we could be able to still engage them and frequent them as we will. So with that, I will be speaking to. As I make strides with contacting these individuals, I'll report back to the committee as far as who has signed up. Susana, contamos contigo for el town hall sobre how do we move forward as a community, para hacer demands hacia City Hall on what do we expect for the survival of not only our small businesses, but our community, because our community are employed by these small businesses. Is enough with the rhetoric. Now it's time to actually advocate and do what we got to do to make sure that we bring the funding to our community. And with that being said, do I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn from Nobles.
Second. Any second? Second. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Domingo.
Enjoy your night, and I'll see y'all next month.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good to meet, brother. Take it easy, man. Bye, y'all.
Take care, guys. Good night.